Hi friends, welcome to today's flow. As a reminder, I am not a medical professional. This yoga flow is not meant to cure a injured back. This is just some gentle yoga poses we use for general soreness, stiffness, or back pain. If at any point you feel more pain or anything that triggers you, please stop and listen to your body closely. If you have a yoga bolster or a big pillow, you might want to have it nearby as a prop to use today. We're going to begin in a supported child's pose. You can do this by keeping the knees narrow and resting the forehead on the hands stacked in front of the knees. Or you can also take that pillow, place it in between the torso and the thighs for some extra support, and then use maybe a yoga block or another pillow under the head in order to help it reach the floor. Use as many props as you need in order to make this as comfortable as possible. We're just wanting to start by putting our spine in a natural and neutral position. This is called child's pose because it puts our spine in the position it was in the womb. So that is just going back to a very natural curvature in the spine. And as we try to relax and breathe here, feel if you can start to notice any stiffness or locate any pain that you're having in the low back or mid back or even upper between the shoulder blades, and areas that you might want to focus on in today's practice. If you're feeling ready and feeling more open in the spine, you can start to move into a more traditional child's pose by extending the arms out in front of you on the mat, palms face down, arms nice and straight, and head either on the mat or on your block. Whichever variation you are in, use your arms to come back up to a seated position and take the knees out as wide as your mat, leaving the feet together to support the bum. We're going to take a wide-legged child's pose here. Again, you can use those props underneath the belly or head to help support you in any way that you need. Walk the hands forward, extending the arms on the mat, palms face down, and breathe into the back here as we try to relax the torso towards the floor. On an inhale, slowly make your way back up to a seated position, removing any props, and find your way to a cross-legged seat or easy pose on the mat. If you are uncomfortable here or if your knees are really high, you can take a block or large pillow underneath the tailbone to support the hips and help lift them and tilt that pelvis forward if your back is uncomfortable in this position. When you're situated and comfortable, take a deep inhale sitting tall, and as you exhale, let the spine curve out as you take your gaze down towards your belly button, spreading the shoulder blades and taking a big C curve with the spine. Inhale back to a tall spine, sitting up nice and straight. And as you exhale, curve out once more, slowly letting all the air out of your lungs. Using your hands on your knees to be able to pull back as far as possible, spreading the shoulder blades, curving out, and then inhale back to a tall, straight spine. Last time, as you exhale, curve out the spine, letting all the air out completely, chin to chest, before inhaling back to your beginning position. On your next inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky, hands to the ceiling, and as you exhale, take left hand to the right knee and right hand behind you on the mat, twisting towards the right. We want to keep ourselves as tall as possible here, reaching up with the crown of the head, and then let the neck follow through with that twist, maybe gazing over your right shoulder behind you. We only want to go as far as feels good. We don't want to torque or aggravate the spine at all, so make sure you're listening to your body and continuing to breathe deep here. Slowly untwist on your next inhale, sweeping those arms back up to the sky and twisting towards the other side. Right hand to left knee, and our left hand supports us behind our bum. Gazing back over the left shoulder, keeping the spine nice and tall, and breathing into the twist. Exhale to untwist, come back to center, and inhale the arms back up to the sky. Let right hand come beside your hips on the mat and reach left arm up over the top for a big side stretch. You can stay on the hand, or if it feels good, you can lower to the right elbow. Just go to where you feel that nice stretch from your pinky all the way down the side of the arm to your sit bone on the mat, keeping both of your sit bones square on the mat and keeping the chest nice and open. On your next inhale, come back up to center and switch side, planting the left hand and reaching right arm up over the top. Slowly release the stretch. Inhale, both arms scooping forward, back up to the sky. Nice and big, spine nice and tall. And as you exhale, cactus the arms out, elbows bent, and chest opens up towards the sky, releasing the air and exhaling nice and slow. Come to hands and knees, stacking shoulders over your wrists and the hips over your knees. We're going to take some cat and cows here, focusing on moving really slowly. So our inhale is cow pose. We let the belly drop and the tailbone and shoulders stay high, taking the gaze out in front of you or inching your gaze up towards the sky. And then as we exhale, we push the mat away and take the gaze to our belly button, rounding out the shoulders and the back, spreading the shoulder blades and pushing the mat away. Take a big inhale as you come back to your cow pose, dropping the belly and lifting the gaze. We're focusing on taking these slow, so if you need to take more than one inhale and exhale, that's perfectly fine. Just try to transition on the exhale into your angry cat back and inhaling into your cow pose. Take this 3 or 4 times through each position. Staying on hands and knees, gently take a side bend as if you're trying to reach your right ear towards your right hip. Breathing here and then come back through center to take the other direction towards the left. So we're just taking lateral spinal bends here, right and left. Just take it as slowly as you'd like. And then once you're comfortable and feeling more open, you can take this in a circular motion through your cat and cow pose. So up through cat, over to this side, twisting the hips in a circular direction, your shoulders and neck. Don't worry about what it looks like, just do what feels nice in your body, circling in one direction and then taking it the other way as well. When you're finished, come back to sit on the heels. Inhale the arms up to the sky and take prayer hands, so palms together. Hold the inhale as you aim the chest towards the sky, and then exhale and cactus out those arms as we did before, bending into the elbows. Taking this 3 times. Inhale up, prayer hands to the sky, gaze to the sky, and exhale, cactus out, opening the chest and the shoulders and opening into the upper back. One more time. Inhale up, sitting as tall as you can, gaze to the sky, and exhale slowly, letting those arms come out wide. Bring the weight forward onto your hands so that you can tuck your toes under and take your tailbone height into a forward fold. We're going to keep a generous bend in the knees here. We're focusing on letting our torso and belly rest on our thighs and letting the head hang heavy. We're focusing not on necessarily stretching the hamstrings, but in putting our back and spine into a natural curvature. Make sure your neck is nice and loose by shaking the head yes and no and letting the top of the head hang heavy. If you want to feel a more release in the low back and intensify this a little bit, take the hands off the floor and maybe grab opposite elbows, just letting gravity pull the torso towards the floor, and again keeping the knees bent. If it feels good, you can try a little sway in the torso side to side, noticing how that changes the stretch in your low back. Take the fingers and interlace them behind your head, hugging the head with your forearms. We're going to slowly, very slowly rise to standing, keeping a bend in the knees, tucking the pelvis, and slowly stacking each vertebrae of the spine as we come up to a standing position, keeping that curve and hugging the chin towards the chest until our head is the very, very last thing up, and then we can release the knees and straighten the legs. Standing on your mat, take a giant step with one foot to the top of the mat and turn into a wide-legged stance so you're facing the wide edge of your mat. We're going to bend into the knees as we fold into a wide-legged fold here. This is a great place to use props if you have blocks that can help you reach the mat. We're going to focus on this fold here and stretching our inner thighs. You can always keep a bend in the knees. We want to make sure we're keeping the feet parallel. If anything, you can also take a little bit of a pigeon-toed stance. Again, if the floor is feeling too far away, use blocks or a stack of books or a big pillow to help your hands reach, as we're going to be here for a minute or so. The reason we're focusing here on inner thigh is because oftentimes when we have stiffness or tightness in the lower back, it's actually tied to a very tight inner thigh. And as we stretch and release here, the hope is that we're also releasing any tension in the low back. Make sure you're keeping your breath nice and even and focusing on big inhales and exhales. We never want to hold our breath when we're holding a static stretch like this. On your next inhale, bend into the knees even more and slowly start to roll up to a standing position, stacking vertebrae like we did before for the head to come up very last. Heel toe the feet back together and stand up tall. Inhale the arms up to the sky, reaching the hands up towards the ceiling along with your gaze, and then bend into the knees, arching into the back a little bit to keep the gaze up at the ceiling. Take the arms out wide as we slowly exhale and dive the chest forward back to our forward fold. Again, keeping our knees nice and bent as we reach towards the floor. Let the top of the head hang heavy as we did before. Neck is nice and loose and released. Feeling the spine stretch towards the floor and relaxing here. When you're ready, we're going to roll up just as we did last time. Interlace the fingers on the back of the head, hugging the elbows in, and slowly tuck the pelvis. Start to stack the vertebrae as we come to a standing position. Inhaling at the top and exhaling the arms out wide. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. If you enjoyed today's video, please subscribe to my channel and leave any suggestions you have for future classes down in the comments. I'll see you next time.